Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. Yay, I got it all right. I'm your host, Patty Long, and you can find me at MS and It for Life. MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE, and that's how I spell it. And I'm on Twitter. I'm kind of sort of on YouTube. I still haven't got my videos figured out as far as how to put them up there. And I've made a couple, but how in the world do I get them up there and get my settings right so people can find them? So I struggle a little bit with new things. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And today is, of course, Thursday. And Thursdays are wonderful days for me. And it's because I know I have a recording to make for you guys. And I also have 9-ball to play tonight at a place called Mirrors. And it's a place where I'm surrounded with nothing but friends. People who actually look after me, who don't think that MS is a joke, other than that, I'm goofy and I joke. So they laugh with me, not at me. They never tell me it doesn't matter. They keep an eye on me, and it's something that I've not experienced early on or at all until I found this group of people. And I've only been playing 9-ball now for like 2 sessions. So that was, or maybe it was 3. I think I started the session before I went for my surgery. And then the next one started. I went to surgery and then I was out. So I haven't really been around them for years and years. But they met me after all this stuff happened. And they accept me just the way I am. And like I said, they look after me. And that's what we all need sometimes, If I'm confused as to how to count or what I'm looking at, they don't give me a bunch of, yada, 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 yada about it. They just help me. They just jump in and help. I don't even have to ask. I mean, that's how incredible this is. I do not even have to ask. And, it's just amazing. It's an overwhelming sort of feeling to know this. So today, while I've been really excited, I've also been procrastinating all day. And this is something I'm really, really bad about doing. It's like I just can't help but procrastinate and keep putting things off, even though I know that this is what I need to do today, or this is what I want to do today, or this is what I'm gonna do today, which is kind of how I operate, is on the this is what I'm gonna do today. But yet I don't get bent out of shape when it doesn't all fall together and happen. So I started out thinking about what I wanted to talk about. And I wrote down some things. Do I want to talk about muscle spasms and overdoing it and how that can affect you? Do I want to talk about going to PT and how great PT is, and that I think it would be wonderful if everybody out there with MS either goes to OT, occupational therapy, or PT, physical therapy, like I did. Now, occupational therapy here, it wasn't geared at all towards people like us, and I wasn't going to get help there. So for me, it was PT. But if you're at a place where they have good occupational therapists for MS who have a clue, then maybe that's where you want to start. So I had that down for a subject, and then I also had another subject down, which is really close to my heart, and that's about warning signs of fainting, passing out, blacking out, falling out, having these terrible things happen that if you don't know about them, you're going to hit the floor and then you're going to be hurt. So, that's a really important topic as well. And I'm still so indecisive, and here it is, 4 o'clock. So, what have I been doing all this time? Well, I started exercising because my decision-making skills are just really, really bad. So, that left me 3 things, and I told a friend of mine this the other day. If you give me just 2 choices, I can generally pick one over the other. But if there's 3 or 4 or 5 or even more, I can't make a decision. Don't show me a menu that's 4 pages long. I'll never be able to decide. Tell me or ask me, do you want A or B? Then I can decide. And it's such a crazy, crazy thing. But that's what MS is, and this is one of many of those hidden cognitive issues. So, I just heard something fall. It's a very windy and kind of stormy day, y'all, so I apologize. I'm getting distracted. See, and being so distracted all the time is also simply a part of the hidden stuff within MS. And, these people where I shoot pool, I don't get no junk from them. I don't hear no junk from any of them. And so I guess because I'm already talking about them, I'm going to talk about the warning signs. And I'll leave the other ones for another day. And this is because of what happened last Thursday night. And last Thursday night, I went to pool. I was first up on my 9-ball team. And I had told our captain the week before that if he really wants me to win, he should play me early in the evening, not late, because the later it gets, the more likely I'm going to be getting tired, and I'm not going to think well, and I'm not going to play well. My arms will rattle. My legs may not keep me in exactly the right position that I need to be, where different muscles are starting to be sore. And you kind of make up for that soreness by standing funky. And shooting pool, even though you have to know what you're doing with angles, and you have to know what you're doing as far as the spin on the cue ball and things like that, which we call English, by the way, even though there's these things at play, the simplicity of the basics are standing in the correct position for you, because guys stand differently than girls usually, and that is for obvious reasons, but we won't get into that on this show because it really doesn't matter. But standing in the correct position for you to shoot, and then having a steady swing almost, except for you're not making a swing like you would with a bat or a golf club. You're shooting, and you have to be very steady so you catch your aim, and then you know have to move your arms steadily forwards and steadily back, and you have to be able to adjust how fast you do that, how slow you do that, and all of this. So it's about this steady repetition. And so I had asked him if he would play me earlier in the evening, because we don't finish till close to midnight, and I'm kind of worn by them. And he did. He played me first, and I did really well, y'all. I was so excited because the player that I was playing against, Susan, she and I are very equal as our playing skills, and so it's an even race. We both have to get the same number of points, and we need to get it before the other one gets that number of points. So we're one up, one down, all the way through it, right till the end. And at the very end, I broke, and I got 2 balls in on the break, and that was 2 points. And I only needed 1 more. And I got 2 more because I actually ricocheted the cue ball off another ball and hit the 9 in. So that gave me 2 points. And I was really excited because I won, you know, it was a good thing. And so I was jumping up and down and yay and congratulating Susan and telling her I had a blast, and I hate it that I beat her, but at the same time I'm so glad I won. I needed the confidence boost, you know, because I'd had some messed up games in 8-ball. So anyways, I told her I needed the confidence boost, and we both laughed, and we went on. And she is one of the owners of the place, and she's usually behind the bar where she's serving people their drinks. And a lot of us don't drink alcohol, and we buy Coke or whatever. And she's got water and juice and all these other drinks that we can have. So, but we get together for the fun of this. And after my match, I watched a friend of mine finish his match. And then several of us who had finished our matches decided we would step outside because it was starting to get kind of warm inside, especially when I'm running around. So we walked outside, and we were probably outside 10 or maybe 15 minutes when before we decided to go back in. And when we were getting ready to walk in, Robert opened the door for me. He's a really sweet kid. He's the same age as my youngin', so I can say he's a kid. But he's really sweet. He's got a heart of gold. And as soon as we walked inside, I had taken 2 steps, 2, inside. And I told him, I thought I was going to black out. And he's like, oh my gosh, are you all right? And I said, I think so. I need to get to a seat. And as I walked around the little entranceway, which wasn't but a few more steps, and I had a wall there to hold on to, and he was right behind me, so I was in good shape there. But as soon as I walked around, I came to a separate bar, not the one they use for serving drinks, where Susan was at and Billy was at, and a whole bunch of other people were sitting, but one that the DJ would use on the weekends. And so it was a little thin bar. And I sat down on a bar stool, and I hooked my feet in, and I reached across the bar because it was a short bar. So even though I am a short person and my arms aren't very long, I was able to reach straight across and hold on the other side and lay my head down and wrap my feet around the bar stool. I knew what was coming next. this wasn't my first rodeo, y'all. I've done this thing before. And everything did go black. It went black just as I was sitting down. No color, no light, no nothing. But I was totally aware. And then I started like getting so weak. And I could feel that my legs were still wrapped around this bar stool, with my knees on one side and then my legs going around and my feet hooked in, and I could tell they were. I could feel them. But there was no strength in my legs, no strength in my arms, although my grip was good. I'm sure if I could have seen, if I had any vision, I would have seen my knuckles turning white because I still had a grip, and that was like frozen. I was frozen attached. And then the sounds became muffled, but they were all there. I was still aware. I still had not actually passed out, I was completely aware. And I heard Susan screaming at me and realized I wasn't able to respond. I couldn't talk. And when I tried to lift myself up, I could barely raise myself and just plop back down. And then I heard her screaming at me again. And she was like, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Patty." And she's hollering at me. And I could hear her voice and I could hear the words. And everything else in the place was muffled. And I tried to speak to her. And as I tried to speak to her, it started spasms in my swallow muscles and down further in my throat, almost like I was going to throw up, but nothing from down that low. It was all up higher than that. But it made this weird noise, And the next thing I knew, Susan was standing there. She just had run around from the bar, and she grabbed a hold of my arm. And she turned me around to look at her. And she hollered for another guy to come. And I think it was Henry. But my memory's a little faded, and he didn't speak. I think it freaked him out because he really did not speak. And then there was somebody else on the other side of me. And then I could feel the presence. I could feel the touch of more people from this place where I have wonderful, wonderful, real true friends who care about me, who didn't think, she's drunk, she's just drunk, because I wasn't, all I'd had to drink was a Coke. So, and no, I don't eat pills. They even asked me that when I got there, because I had pulled out some medicine, and I said, I've got one left in here, and if I have to, then I have it for later. And I stuck it back in my bag, and they remembered that because they had asked me if I needed to wait and be second instead of first, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I just wanted to see what I had because it's a prescription, and I knew that my bottle was nearly empty. So anyways, I didn't take it. And so my friends never went down that road of, she's just tore up and, had too much and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't hear any of that. Even though I couldn't see, couldn't respond, and had no control over my body. None whatsoever. And then the spasticity got worse and worse. Now, mind you, I had people holding me up, but my chair was shaking. That's how bad it was. I could hear the chair shaking, and I was folding because I had no muscular control to hold myself sitting at all. So I was folding. My body was folding over on that chair, and I have this weird noise coming out of me, and I have people there holding on to me. And at one point, I remember Susan saying, "Hold her like this real quick, I'm calling 911. Well, guys, let me tell you, 911 got lost. They didn't make it. And then Susan came back, but this was before she knew they were lost, and they called, and she left me again. And during all this time, I am like this and twitching. And now, the people got so lost and kept getting so lost that they never found us. And by the time she had finally gotten them straightened out as to where we were located and where I was starting to come out of it. And I was able to speak a little. And all I could say was, no, 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 no. And they were like, you don't have to go with them. We're just going to let them check you out if they ever get here. And I kept saying no to a hospital. And my reason is because I've been to hospitals here and I know how I get treated here. So I did not want to go. But they were lost and lost. And, you know, they should have known where we were at because this place is near a very heavily populated area. They should know where Mears is. And it's been there forever. But they didn't, and they were lost. And it was going to be even longer. And I was starting to come out of this thing. And then my friend Louie from there, who wasn't playing, walked me. Because I told him I needed to get to my feet. So when I was finally able to speak a little bit, I said, I need to be on my feet. And him, and I think it was Henry on the other side, and a couple of other people who I'm still not sure who it was because none of them spoke, but they held on to me while I stood there. And when I was able to put more and more weight on my legs and hold myself up, then I convinced Louie to help me walk around. And we went back outside and we walked. And in the in-between stages, Susan, who said that I looked really funny, and I'm sure I did, that I looked really bad, I think was actually her words. She said that I was very red everywhere. And as is, when you can't see a thing and everything is black, your eyes are fully dilated. And I think she saw the fully dilated eyes and the redness, and it was really scary for the people that saw that. And I think that's why they didn't all speak. You know, Susan and Louie and Henry maybe once spoke, and nobody else did during this whole thing. But they were all there. And I knew what to do, you know, and I knew that the best thing for me, once I could, was to get to my feet and walk. I also knew, and I'm not an idiot, y'all, I knew better than to do that by myself, because that would have been dangerous, and we don't want to fall. So pay attention to these warning signs and know what you need to do, and know that when you're coming out of it, don't immediately stand up by yourself. If you don't have somebody holding you up, then don't stand. Don't try and open your eyes, because that just makes it worse and makes you dizzy. So keep your eyes closed. Keep your head down. Lay down as flat as you can across something so you don't fall, or lay down on a floor wherever you are. And yes, had I not made it to that bar stool when I did, I would have sat down in the floor and laid over there. Never be too proud to stop and drop with control on purpose so that you don't get hurt because you've fallen. And I am just so thankful that I have met these people. They mean the world to me, and they all know it. They all know it. They're just an amazing group of people. And I have found a family there. One that actually loves me the way I love them. And they're there for me in the same as I am there for them. And this is such an amazing thing after everything I have been through. It's been so overwhelming. But I did contact my doctor, and he said, if that happens again, go to the hospital. Get the EKG, get the CAT scan, get the MRI, so we can see exactly what's going on. But he did agree with me. That was not any kind of weirdo seizure. That was some other kind of weirdo incident, probably triggered by going from the 50 degrees outside into the upper 70s, probably mid to upper 70s inside, and my temperature change intolerance. So this was just a part of my MS. But y'all, do not ignore warning signs to sit your butt down. Sit down wherever you are. Lay down. Do not fall. Make sure that you take these warning signs seriously. And of course, my time is up, so let me say goodbye and thank you. I love you all so much. Until next time, smile big, smile really, really big. Find something fun to do. Laugh your butt off and just enjoy life, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Love yourselves. And start every morning with that smile in the mirror, that big giant grin and silly faces, and that'll get you there. So till next week, bye y'all.